Welcome back to Diary of the Cosmos. Tonight, we drift toward the final voice humanity leaves behind. A message that may continue traveling long after every city, every memory, and every light on Earth has gone dark. Far beyond the warmth of the sun, beyond the orbit of the outer planets, beyond the fading edge of the heliosphere, a small machine continues to move, quietly, patiently. It carries no living passenger, no beating heart, no watching eyes. And yet, in a way, it still carries us. Not our bodies, not our civilizations, only something far stranger, a distilled memory of what it once felt like to be human, a greeting, a piece of music, a diagram scratched into metal, the sound of a kiss, the pulse of hydrogen, the map of our place among the stars. All of it fastened to a machine already older than generations of human lives, drifting farther each second. The darkness does not arrive all at once. First, the planets thin behind it. The giant worlds become bright points. Then those points dissolve into the crowded background of stars. The sun, once an overwhelming force, slowly shrinks into another light among billions. From this distance, Earth is no longer a world. It is an idea, a memory compressed into mathematics, sound, and symbol. This is what makes the thought so haunting. The final message humanity sends to the stars may not be a dramatic final transmission, not a desperate radio call, not a farewell spoken in panic. It may already be on its way, bolted to the side of a probe launched in the 20th century. A silent archive crossing an ocean of plasma and dust. The Voyager record was never designed as a prophecy. It was a gesture, a fragile act of optimism from a young technological species that had only just begun to step outside its planetary cradle. There is something deeply moving in that choice. Humanity stood at the threshold of interstellar darkness and decided not to send a warning, not a weapon, not a declaration of dominance, but music, laughter, greetings in dozens of languages, a mother speaking to her child, the sounds of rain, wind, and surf. As if the species, even then, understood something essential. If the universe were ever to know us, it should first know how it felt when the oceans touched the shore. Silence lingers between stars. The probe continues forward. Its instruments, one by one, are falling silent with time. Power is finite. Systems age. The active conversation with Earth will not last forever. Current models suggest that long before the spacecraft itself is physically destroyed, its voice back to us will end. The stream of telemetry, the measurements, the electronic whisper of a machine reporting home, gone. But the record remains. This is the first beautiful contradiction at the heart of tonight's journey. The machine may stop speaking, yet the message survives. Long after the radios die, the deeper communication continues, not through broadcast, through endurance. A physical object crossing the galaxy with no need for electricity, no need for maintenance, no need for an audience. Just persistence. A memory encoded into matter. Imagine the timescale for a moment. Not years, not centuries, millions of years. The continents of Earth will shift. Mountain ranges will rise and wear away. Languages will vanish so completely that even their descendants will be unknowable. And still, that small golden disk may remain intact, turning slowly through the cold. Its survival is not guaranteed forever. Nothing in the universe is. But interstellar space is vast beyond intuition. Collisions are rare. Matter is sparse. The darkness between stars is almost empty. That emptiness becomes a kind of protection. The message survives because there is almost nothing there to erase it. A strange kind of immortality, not eternal life, only prolonged forgetting. The most unsettling part is not whether anyone will find it. That possibility belongs to another layer of speculation. And tonight, we do not need certainty there. The deeper mystery is what it means to create a message meant to outlive the civilization that created it. This changes the emotional center of the object. The record is no longer merely a greeting to hypothetical extraterrestrials. It becomes a time capsule for absence. A record of a species speaking from a moment that may never come again. The oceans it captured may change. The atmosphere may shift. Humanity itself may become something unrecognizable, or disappear. Yet the record would continue to describe who we were when we first reached outward. Young enough to still be amazed, wise enough to know we should introduce ourselves gently. There is something almost tender in the fact that the message is attached to motion. It does not wait in a museum, it travels. The archive itself is in exile from its home world. Every second places it farther from the place that gave it meaning. And that distance slowly transforms the message. At first, it is a human artifact. Then it becomes a solar artifact. Later, perhaps, it becomes something else entirely. A galactic fossil, a moving remnant of consciousness once bound to oceans, weather, language, and firelight. The stars do not answer quickly. Perhaps they never answer at all. That was never the true power of the gesture. The power lies in scale. Humanity, for a brief moment, created something capable of surviving its own political eras, its own empires, perhaps even its own species. Not because the object is indestructible, because the cosmos is patient, and patience changes the meaning of everything. A single century on Earth can feel overwhelming. A million years in interstellar drift is barely the beginning of the sentence. The probe moves onward through a darkness so thin it almost ceases to be space in any human sense. No horizon, no up or down, only motion, only time. Only a quiet object carrying the memory of waves, voices, and music into regions no living human will ever witness firsthand. This is where the final message becomes larger than its physical form. The gold-plated disc is only the vessel. The real message is the act itself. The decision to believe that memory matters even when separated from the living minds that made it. The belief that meaning can survive distance. That identity can survive translation into mathematics and vibration. That even in a silent universe, it is worth leaving behind a trace. A red dwarf may still burn when Earth is gone. The Milky Way will continue its slow rotation. Stars will be born, others will collapse. Nebulae will dissolve into new suns. Against that scale, the message is impossibly small, and yet it moves. Still, a tiny refusal to vanish completely. The darkness does not erase everything. Some things simply become quieter. And as the probe drifts deeper into the galactic night, the question gently changes shape. It is no longer, "What did we send?" It becomes something softer. What part of ourselves did we choose to let outlive us? That is where our journey must continue. Because before the message can become eternal in feeling, we must first understand the road it travels. The long, almost unimaginable voyage through interstellar space itself, where time stretches, matter thins, and a human memory becomes a wandering object of the galaxy. The record now moves through a region the human mind was never built to feel. Not empty, only almost. Beyond the protective bubble of the sun, beyond the streaming wind of charged particles that once carried the familiar breath of our star outward into the dark. The probe has entered the interstellar medium, a place so thin that space itself begins to lose emotional meaning. A few atoms in a cubic centimeter, cold plasma, faint magnetic fields, rare grains of dust moving on ancient galactic paths. This is the ocean through which humanity's memory now drifts, not with speed in the way we understand speed on Earth. No rushing wind, no sense of momentum pressing against a body, only silent motion relative to the stars. The spacecraft continues because there is almost nothing present to stop it. That near emptiness is the first great guardian of the message. On Earth, everything decays quickly. Air corrodes, water reshapes stone. Biology consumes what is left unattended. Time on Earth is an active force. Out here, time behaves differently. It stretches into preservation. The darkness between stars is so sparse that destruction becomes a statistical event rather than a certainty. A dust grain may strike the probe after centuries, another after millennia. Most of the time, nothing touches it at all. The silence is physical, and that silence is why the message survives. This is the strange mercy of interstellar space. Its loneliness protects memory. Every passing year places the spacecraft farther from the solar system, but not in a straight emotional line. The stars themselves move. The sun orbits the center of the Milky Way. Nearby stars drift on their own trajectories. The galaxy's gravitational tides slowly reshape the geometry around every object within it. So the probe is not simply traveling away. It is becoming part of the galaxy's slow circulation, a microscopic participant in a rotation that takes hundreds of millions of years. The darkness does not stay still. Nothing truly does. Even this message, which feels frozen in inattention, is carried by a cosmic river far larger than the civilization that launched it. Imagine what that means across deep time. Civilizations on Earth rise and vanish in spans too small to matter here. 1,000 years, 10,000, even 1,000,000. Against galactic motion, these are breaths. Meanwhile, the probe keeps going. Its internal systems have been fading for decades. The radioisotope power source that once fed its instruments is finite. One by one, the scientific tools that gave us knowledge of the outer solar system have gone quiet or will soon do so. Eventually, the final carrier signal to Earth will end. Not with drama, just a last packet of telemetry, a final measured whisper. Then nothing. The machine's active life concludes there, but this is where the deeper life of the artifact begins. The physical body of the spacecraft has no need for power to continue existing. It needs only inertia, only the permission granted by empty space. This distinction matters. The mission ends. The journey does not. The darkness does not arrive all at once. Even after contact ends, the spacecraft still passes through regions with structure. Interstellar clouds, subtle density changes, invisible boundaries and magnetic orientation. The Milky Way is not a void, but a textured sea of particles and fields so faint that only patient instruments can reveal them. For millions of years, the probe will move through these shifting gradients, a silent witness to places it can no longer describe. This is one of the most haunting truths of the journey. There will come a time when the spacecraft experiences environments no human mind will ever know through data. It will still be there, still crossing unseen frontiers, but no signal will return. The knowledge remains trapped inside the silence of its path. a moving archive with no narrator. This is where the final message begins to change again. At launch, it was a cultural offering, a deliberate portrait. Music, mathematics, biology, geography, language. A carefully chosen image of who we believed ourselves to be. But in interstellar drift, the object acquires a second meaning. It becomes evidence of persistence itself. Not just what humanity said, but how long humanity managed to make something last. The message survives because engineering briefly aligned with cosmic scale. Gold plating, protective casing, low-density environment, a trajectory that escapes the gravitational clutter of the inner solar system. Real science created the poetry here. Nothing mystical, just material choice, orbital mechanics, and the immense patience of space. And yet, the emotional effect is larger than the hardware. The thought of a human-made object still traveling after continents have shifted is difficult to absorb. Picture Earth after 10 million years. Coastlines transformed, species changed beyond recognition, mountains ground lower, new skies above altered oceans. Perhaps no trace of our cities remains. Perhaps no one living on that future Earth remembers the civilization that built the probe. Still, beyond the local stars, the message continues. Small, cold, unaware. Its endurance is not conscious. That makes it more powerful, not less. The galaxy carries it without ceremony, past red dwarfs that may still be burning when the sun has entered old age, past white dwarfs cooling in forgotten stellar graveyards, past molecular clouds where future stars are only beginning to gather. The message passes through epochs, not because it was designed for immortality, because interstellar space grants extraordinary extensions to fragile things. There is a gentleness in that. The same universe that erases worlds also preserves certain traces with astonishing care. A civilization's monuments can fall faster than its smallest spacecraft. Stone fails under weather. Metal cities collapse under chemistry. But in the deep cold between stars, a thin-plated disk may outlive entire geological eras. This is why the idea of a final message is scientifically richer than a single farewell. The true finality is temporal. The object survives beyond any likely continuity of culture. Meaning detaches from sender. The message enters a phase where its creator may no longer exist in recognizable form. And still it travels. There is no urgency in its motion, no destination in the human sense. Current models suggest that over tens of thousands to millions of years, close stellar encounters remain extraordinarily rare. The distances are simply too vast. The nearest stars are separated by gulfs so immense that even at interstellar speeds, the crossing times become almost incomprehensible. This is where popular imagination often distorts scale. The spacecraft is not heading toward discovery in any cinematic way. It is drifting through probabilities, a statistical wandering through the Milky Way. Its most likely future is not encounter, it is duration. That duration is the real cosmic drama. The darkness gives the message room to remain. And with enough time, remaining becomes its own kind of speech. A single artifact continuing to exist becomes information about the civilization that made it. Patience itself becomes content. The galaxy learns nothing through sound, only through survival. The probe's path slowly curves under the broader gravitational architecture of the Milky Way. Not sharply, not in ways the eye would easily perceive, but enough that over immense timescales, its relation to constellations, stars, and galactic structure changes continuously. The night sky around it is never the same twice. Constellations dissolve. New alignments emerge. stars separate. Others approach. Even the background against which the message travels is temporary. This softens something important. The final message humanity sends to the stars is not static. Its meaning evolves because the universe around it evolves. The artifact remains materially similar while its cosmic context transforms around it. The same golden disk, a different galaxy every age. And perhaps that is the most human part of the journey. We also never remain in the same context. Meaning changes with distance. Identity changes with time. Memory changes with what surrounds it. The probe simply performs that truth on a galactic scale. So as it moves deeper into the Milky Way's patient dark, another question begins to rise from the silence. If the road is this long and the object this durable, then what exactly did humanity choose to preserve on that disk? Not just sounds, not just images, but a curated self-portrait of a species trying to compress oceans, biology, language, mathematics, and wonder into a form the cosmos might someday read. That is where the journey must deepen next. Into the record itself, into the engraved instructions, the pulsar map, the hydrogen line, and the fragile decision of what we believe deserved to represent Earth. By now, the spacecraft is almost secondary. The deeper story lies in the object fastened to its side, a golden disk, small enough to disappear beneath a human arm, simple enough to be mistaken for decoration, and yet dense with one of the most extraordinary acts of self-definition our species has ever attempted. The final message humanity sends to the stars is not merely a message. It is a decision about identity, about memory, about what deserves to survive translation into deep time. When the record was assembled, the challenge was never technological alone. The greater difficulty was philosophical. How do you compress a world into a finite surface? How do you reduce oceans, weather, grief, mathematics, affection, biology, and music into something of future intelligence, or even a future version of ourselves, might still recognize as meaning? The answer they chose was not completeness, it was essence. The darkness does not arrive all at once. First comes instruction. Before the sounds, before the greetings, before the music of Bach and the pulse of earthly life, the exterior of the disk presents a visual key, an attempt to teach decoding through universal reference, not English, not culture, physics. This is where the scientific beauty of the record becomes inseparable from its emotional force. Etched onto the cover is the hydrogen hyperfine transition, a tiny atomic event, one of the most fundamental measurable frequencies in nature. This was chosen as the base unit, a cosmic constant that any sufficiently advanced scientific civilization or any distant descendant intelligence could theoretically identify. It is one of the purest examples of humanity trusting reality itself as language. When symbols fail, physics remains. This matters because the message is not just content, it is methodology. Humanity did not merely say, "This is who we are." It first said, "This is how to understand the terms in which we are speaking." That humility is profound. We began with the universe before we began with ourselves. Then comes the pulsar map, perhaps the most haunting piece of scientific cartography ever placed on an artifact. 14 pulsars radiate outward from a central point representing the sun, each line encoded with the pulsar's unique periods. Not names, not mythology, timing, rotation. The rhythms of collapsed stellar remnants scattered across the galaxy. In effect, the map says, we were here, at this moment in cosmic time. relative to these dead stars still spinning in the dark. There is something deeply DOTC in this choice. Humanity used the afterlives of stars to mark the birthplace of its own living memory. Dead suns guiding future readers back toward a world of oceans and breath. The poetry here belongs entirely to real astronomy. No invention is needed. The record's creators understood that pulsars change predictably over time. Their spin periods lengthen, which means the map does more than show location. It encodes epoch. A finder can infer when the record was made. The message is spatial and temporal, a coordinate in both place and age. This is not only a greeting, it is a timestamp embedded in stellar death. The silence between ideas matters here. Because once the outer instructions are understood, the deeper emotional chamber of the record opens. Inside waits the curated self-portrait. Not exhaustive, selective. This is where the question becomes intimate. What did humanity decide was worth preserving? The answer is revealing. Greetings in 55 languages. Simple human warmth crossing linguistic boundaries. Hello from children. Hello from leaders. Hello from ordinary voices that now belong to the past. Not declarations of power, introductions. Then the sounds of earth. Wind through trees, thunder, waves against a shore, birdsong, heartbeat, footsteps. The choice is quietly radical. Before representing our ideologies, we represented our environment. Before politics, the sea. Before conquest, rain. As if the record understands that humanity cannot be separated from the planet that shaped its senses. We hear Earth before we hear civilization, and then the music. This may be the most emotionally concentrated part of the archive. A species attempting to choose a few fragments of organized sound to stand in for the immeasurable totality of its inner life. Classical compositions, traditional music, rhythms rooted in specific cultures and specific histories, different ways of feeling time through sound. Music becomes the closest thing the record has to emotional mathematics. It carries structure, tension, release, pattern, and expectation in forms that may survive translation better than words. Even if no listener ever understands the cultural origin, they may still detect ratio, recurrence, harmony, a relationship between frequencies. In that sense, music is both art and signal. The record trusted that beauty might be one of the few universally legible experiences. This is scientifically uncertain in any literal alien contact sense. But philosophically, it is one of the most honest choices humanity could make. We chose not only to describe ourselves, we chose to preserve how it felt to be alive. That distinction transforms the object from archive to memory vessel. The images stored on the record deepen this further. Human anatomy, DNA structure, mathematical definitions, planetary arrangement, landscapes, human interaction, biological reproduction, life cycles. Again, the selection is revealing. The record does not only preserve knowledge, it preserves relationships. Body to body, parent to child, organism to planet, species to star. Meaning is embedded in connection. This is where the final message becomes almost unbearably moving. It is not a final statement from power. It is a final statement from intimacy. A species saying, "This is our body, this is our sky. This is how our world sounds when rain touches water. This is what our minds discovered in atoms and stars. This is how our emotions learned to become music." There are absences too, and those absences are part of the story. No complete history of conflict, no full archive of suffering, no comprehensive portrait of injustice, extinction, war, or failure. The record is aspirational, a filtered self-image, a portrait of what humanity hoped was most worth carrying forward. This does not weaken the message. It makes it more human. Every archive is also a confession of values. What we preserve reveals what we fear losing, and what we fear losing reveals what we love. The darkness grows softer here, because the record is no longer only a machine component. It is a philosophical mirror. If this truly were the final message humanity sends to the stars, then it tells us less about extraterrestrials than about ourselves, about what we believed mattered at the edge of our ignorance. We chose mathematics because truth outlives language. We chose pulsars because dead stars remember time better than monuments. We chose greetings because existence begins with recognition. We chose music because emotion resists extinction. And we chose Earth's natural sounds because every civilization, however advanced, begins inside a world. That may be the deepest scientific and existential insight hidden inside the disk. The record is not a list of achievements. It is a dependency map, a reminder that intelligence emerges from chemistry, atmosphere, gravity, temperature, oceans, and the slow patience of evolution beneath a stable star. The disk preserves the chain that made thought possible. This is why the object feels larger than its size. It is not a summary of humanity. It is a summary of conditions that allowed humanity to happen. And because of that, it remains meaningful, even if humanity itself changes beyond recognition. Future humans, post-biological descendants, machine inheritors, or no inheritors at all. The record still testifies to a specific moment when one planetary species paused and asked what truth, beauty, and identity should look like when engraved into matter. There is no perfect answer to that question. Only the answer they gave. And that answer continues to move through the galaxy. Slowly, patiently, still carrying a map written in pulsars and hydrogen, while the sounds of waves and human voices sleep inside the disk. But this is where the emotional gravity begins to widen. Because one day, the civilization that created this portrait may no longer exist. The disk may continue. The sender may not. And when memory survives its makers, the meaning of the message changes once more. It stops being introduction. It becomes aftermath. It becomes the lingering self-portrait of a species that may already belong to cosmic history. That is where our journey must now open. Into absence. Into the possibility that the message keeps traveling after Earth itself has fallen silent. And meaning no longer depends on anyone being left to remember why it was sent. There may come a night in the history of the cosmos when the message still exists, but the world that made it does not. By then, the probe may be unimaginably far from the sun, not near another star, not discovered, only farther. Its path still governed by inertia, by the quiet curvature of the Milky Way, by the patient architecture of gravity acting across millions of years. And somewhere behind it, in a region of the galaxy now rearranged by time, Earth may no longer be recognizable. This is where the final message humanity sends to the stars changes its deepest meaning. As long as the senders remain, the message feels like communication, an offering, a possibility, a bridge extending outward from one living civilization toward an unknown future. But when the senders are gone, the bridge remains with nothing left behind it. The structure survives. The civilization does not. That asymmetry transforms the message into something far more haunting. Not a conversation, a residue. The darkness does not arrive all at once. First, continuity fades. Languages mutate beyond recovery. Cultures branch into forms that no longer remember their origins. Biological humanity may alter itself through evolution, engineering, or migration. Machine descendants may inherit fragments of our archives without carrying our emotional frameworks. Or Earth may simply fall into silence through natural cosmic timescales long after our present era is forgotten. All of these remain in the space between established science and active hypothesis. What matters tonight is not which path unfolds. What matters is that every plausible path eventually detaches the message from the minds that created it. And once that happens, the disk no longer functions as greeting. It becomes evidence, a fossil of intention. There is something strangely peaceful in this. Meaning does not necessarily require a living witness. A canyon still contains geological memory even when no one stands before it. A dead star still carries the history of fusion inside its remnants. A pulsar still marks time in darkness with no audience. The record enters that same category. It continues to mean because it continues to exist. This is speculative in the philosophical sense, but grounded in a real scientific intuition. Persistence itself becomes information. The message says, a civilization was once capable of abstraction. It understood hydrogen. It mapped pulsars. It heard music as structure. It believed memory deserved matter. Even if no intelligence ever touches the disk, its continued motion through the galaxy preserves that truth as a physical fact. This is where the emotional center softens. The final message is no longer about being heard. It is about refusing total disappearance. Not immortality, only trace. And trace may be the most realistic form of endurance any civilization can ever achieve. Worlds change faster than we emotionally expect. Given enough time, the sun itself will enter red giant evolution. Current stellar models strongly support that in roughly 5 billion years, the familiar architecture of the inner solar system will be transformed beyond anything recognizable to life as we know it. The oceans will not remain. The atmosphere will not remain. The stable conditions that once allowed a species to record rain, wind, and heartbeats into gold will be gone. This is established astrophysics. And yet the probe may still be moving. This contrast gives the object its almost unbearable emotional scale. A tiny machine component may outlast the biosphere that inspired it. Not because the machine is grand, because stars evolve slowly and interstellar drift asks so little from matter. The universe erases environments while preserving trajectories. There is poetry in that, but it is entirely built on real physics. The darkness grows quieter. Imagine a future in which Earth has become an archive only in scattered artifacts. No cities, no oceans in their present form, no familiar sky for human eyes. Still, somewhere in the Milky Way, the record carries the sound of waves. The original shore may no longer exist. The recording remains. This is why the message begins to resemble memory itself. Human memory also survives detached from origin. We remember childhood places that have changed. We preserve voices after the speakers are gone. We replay music from moments that no longer exist in the world. The disk performs this same emotional truth on a galactic scale. It is a memory object, a physicalized act of remembrance. The sender's absence deepens rather than destroys the meaning. And here the philosophical layer widens into speculative territory. If a future intelligence, human descendant, machine civilization, or something entirely unrelated, were ever to encounter the disk, the first thing it would truly discover is not our science. It would discover our priorities. That we chose introduction over warning, beauty over strategy, ocean over empire, music over dominance. This would not be a complete portrait of us, but it would be an honest portrait of what we wish to preserve when confronted by the abyss of scale. The final message therefore becomes less like a letter and more like a self-portrait left in an abandoned house. The house may collapse, the portrait can remain. The galaxy itself participates in this transformation. Stars continue their births and deaths. Nebulae fold into new suns, white dwarfs cool, red dwarfs burn with astonishing patience. Galactic tides continue their subtle shaping. The record passes through all of this, not as observer, but as survivor. That distinction matters. Its significance does not come from consciousness. It comes from continuity. This is why the phrase, "final message," may be slightly misleading. The message does not end when it is sent. Its meaning evolves with every era in which its senders are increasingly absent. At first it means, "We are here." Later it means, "We were here." Eventually, it may mean something even softer. Something like us once cared enough to leave this behind. That shift is the heart of tonight's widening silence. The stars do not need to answer for the message to matter. Reception is optional. Existence is enough. This is one of the most comforting scientific truths hidden inside the idea. The universe is full of preserved consequences. Crater fields, fossil light from the cosmic microwave background, element abundances forged in ancient supernovae, pulsar timing records, planetary rings shaped by vanished moons. Reality keeps traces. The golden record simply becomes one more trace, small, intentional, and profoundly intimate. As the sender disappears into history, the message stops being communication and becomes continuity without presence, a memory without a mind, a voice without breath, a shoreline without a sea. The darkness does not erase everything. Some things survive as shape, as pattern, as evidence that a certain arrangement of atoms once learned to wonder. And now we approach the final widening of the journey. Because if the senders are gone and the message no longer needs a listener, then what remains is no longer a message in the ordinary sense. It becomes something slower, a silent form of cosmic memory, not asking to be found, only continuing, only remaining, only drifting deeper into the long black patience of the galaxy, where memory itself begins to dissolve into pure existence. By the time the final age of this journey arrives, the word message may no longer be the right word at all. Messages imply intention, a sender, a receiver, a bridge between minds. But the longer the disk moves through the galaxy, the more those familiar human categories begin to soften. The sender fades into history. The possible receiver dissolves into probability. The bridge itself stretches until it is no longer experienced as communication, but as endurance. What remains is simpler. A thing that continues, a shape in motion, a pattern in matter, a small golden memory drifting through the patient dark. This is the final transformation. The last message humanity sends to the stars eventually stops being about humanity. It becomes part of the larger grammar of the cosmos. Not alive, not dead, only present. The darkness does not arrive all at once. Even now, the galaxy around the record continues its endless revision. Stars drift into new alignments. Ancient constellations dissolve into forms no human eye would recognize. Nebulae collapse. White dwarfs cool toward blackness. Red dwarfs continue their astonishingly slow burn. The disk crosses all of this in silence. No telemetry, no active voice, no witness required. Its meaning now lives in persistence alone. This is where the emotional tone must become gentler. Not loss, not grief, something quieter, a kind of cosmic acceptance. Real astrophysics teaches us that almost everything we love is temporary in form. Stars evolve, planetary climates shift, galaxies merge. Even the Milky Way itself will one day reshape in its future encounter with Andromeda Galaxy. Nothing keeps its exact arrangement forever. And yet the universe does not become empty because forms change. It becomes layered. The past remains as consequence, as radiation, as orbit, as chemistry, as relic structure. The record belongs to this same family of remnants. It is a relic not of catastrophe, but of intention. A species once paused in its brief window of stability and pressed memory into metal. That act alone is enough to let the object join the deeper archive of reality. The cosmic microwave background is a memory. Elemental abundances are a memory. Ancient crater basins on forgotten moons are a memory. And now, among these natural records, a manufactured memory drifts beside them. This is perhaps the most intimate place where science and philosophy meet. Reality preserves what survives the conditions around it. The disk survives because emptiness is gentle, because interstellar erosion is slow, because collisions are rare, because the galaxy is unimaginably large. Real physics grants the artifact its meditative lifespan. The atmosphere we feel tonight is built entirely on those facts. A red dwarf, still burning somewhere far beyond the fading future of Earth. Its light crosses the disk for a moment, then passes. Another star, another epoch, another rearrangement of the galactic sky. The record keeps moving. Its contents remain unchanged, yet their emotional meaning continues to evolve with time. At first, the sound of waves meant home. Later, it became memory. Now, in this final widening silence, it becomes something even softer. A proof that home once existed. That may be the deepest truth hidden inside all final messages. They are never truly about the future. They are about preserving the reality of a past moment against the erosion of scale. The Golden Record says, this configuration of oceans happened. This atmosphere happened. These voices happened. This species learned hydrogen, pulsars, mathematics, tenderness, and music. This world once stood beneath a stable star and became aware enough to wonder what should outlive it. Nothing more is required. No reply, no discovery, no rescue from oblivion. The record no longer asks anything of the universe. It simply remains within it. This is why the final stage of the journey feels almost like sleep. No urgency, no destination, only drift. Only the long visual fade of stars slowly changing around a single artificial object. For DOTC, this is where the pacing must breathe. The disk turns, slowly. A line engraved in gold catches distant starlight. Then darkness again. Millions of years pass without event. And still the object survives. Not because it is sacred, because matter in empty space is allowed to be patient. This may be the most comforting scientific idea hidden in the story. The cosmos is not only a place of destruction, it is also a place where certain traces are permitted extraordinary durations. A voice recording may vanish on Earth, a city may disappear, a civilization may become dust and myth. Yet one carefully shielded fragment can continue. The universe makes room for remnants, and remnants become memory. Eventually, even the word humanity softens. Perhaps descendants evolve into forms we would not recognize. Perhaps machine inheritors inherit only data without emotion. Perhaps no lineage survives at all. By this point, it changes nothing. The record's final meaning is independent of lineage. It has become pure trace, a shape that says, once, somewhere, under a yellow star. Matter learned to listen to rain and turn that feeling into signal. That is enough, more than enough. Because in the end, every civilization can only hope for some version of this. Not permanence, not victory, only a trace durable enough to cross into eras where names no longer matter. The final message humanity sends to the stars is therefore not a sentence. It is a continuity of presence, a refusal of perfect erasure. A single object that allows the universe to retain one more delicate proof that consciousness once bloomed in a small corner of the Milky Way. The darkness does not erase everything. Some things become quieter. Some things become older than meaning. And some things, through the mercy of empty space, simply continue. So the disk drifts onward, past stellar nurseries, past cooling remnants, past future constellations no mind has yet imagined. Its golden face still carrying waves, breath, mathematics, and music. No longer a greeting, no longer a warning, no longer even a question, only the silence that remains. This has been another entry in Diary of the Cosmos. Until our next journey, remain with the stars.